Oh, okay.
Ain't that
Have
something?
you ever seen Liquidation Channel?
I'm gonna find out what channel is it.
It's 28 on
Okay.
Comcast.
Okay, channel
And I
20.
buy, oh God, I buy way more than I should.
Right.
But it's gorgeous stuff.
Yeah.
And they've had that designer from England over here. And she's got flowers like that.
Uh-huh.
And she's got her.
I got these things from like a secondhand store. They probably shop on the Liquidators channel.
They might, but this is, it's just really, if you get a chance, watch it sometime. The prices are, on Friday, everything's $10.
What's a hoop?
No matter what. Cool. And I like it. Okay, honey, you gonna sit with me? Okay. I just need you where I can get at you.
You can get it. The wall's right here, and I'll sit here like we did last time.
And now I got a clear shot.
And then we'll do this. Just testing. 1, 2, 3.
Silly thing. You are so silly.
Yes.
Now, what kind of Oh, you're her.
Yeah.
Do you do that?
Let me get that for you.
I got so excited I threw my lip gloss. Thank you. Do you do hair like mine?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this Josh the other day. He said, you're right.
Yeah.
Still, I'm Joy and this is Scott.
I know you guys.
Hey, yeah, we'll be able to see.
I sign all the time. Every time we have a meeting, I'm here.
Yep.
Okay.
Been here right now.
Right. Well, now, how much do you charge? You can't do it free. I won't take it free.
We'll work it out.
Don't do that.
Okay, well,
Okay, you gotta sign up to
We'll just work it out.
yeah.
Gene said his attorney may be able to see. He might want a website, so I might do a trade, set up a website, and determine what I'm spending on birth certificate.
Okay, good.
So,
Well, all that stuff's falling together then.
yep, so he charges about $350 an hour.
How much?
And that's how much we'll charge him to set up his web.
Have you got a list of things? No, I'm talking my husband.
What? That ARB? I don't know if there's an agenda or they want to listen to
I know George, I know. I'm talking about the guy in the green shirt. Not that one, the
the
other.
guy. He's not on ARB.
No, that's not John
Oh,
Sellers.
he's not on ARB.
I don't know who he is.
He's somebody with the city then.
No, he's not. I bet money.
Okay. I'll tell you what he's not. He's not an ARB. Because the other members are just a point clerk.
I bet Dave's hiding somewhere. He don't even want to bother us.
Dave used to be here.
I know
He
he.
may be.
He makes
He may
four,
be.
right? He makes four.
He'll make five.
He'll make 5 when he gets here.
Oh.
Yeah.
But he can't hear. His dad's supposed to.
He's the fifth show.
He is.
Really got to have his right ear. Getting right ear. One ear he really can't. And he'll say, I need to see your lips.
He reads
As long as he's looking, as long as you're looking right
So
at him,
if-
you can tell he's
It's fine.
If you
Be sure you're
speak,
looking.
look at him, because he's chewing. That guy, the guy was joking on me.
No, I'm not. Harley, look, Harley is cute. Harley, Harley.
Mike Simpson, hand that cards. You what?
Or exchange code or something, whatever it is. Whatever it is he's doing down here.
Airport chamber comments. You'll know later because you're going to get in.
Even though he said he's about to step up.
But I want you.
He's actually about to resign.
Okay, well, good for him.
He like hard to attorney.
Oh, yes. I Tanya's looking at it.
They got charged $350 an hour. That should be larger than internal too. Yes, she is.
I gotta get brackets.
So, this agenda is from the last one.
This
They
needs,
talk about the map post.
oh,
No, this one is
this is just, they have his own meeting, they scared him.
they got everybody else. They got
Oh, man,
everybody
he's
else
a good man. He's good and he's right, and that's, but he's got, you're, okay, turn on the chase. See all the folks, they all cowards. They're scared that, now you gotta realize, my family's integrated.
6 months ago, he tried to get his run. That's why they had to have it a week.
That's David, okay, see the guy that just walked in with the ponytail. That's David.
Oh, that's the one I can't hear.
He's the man. So if you're talking to him, look at him, be sure you gotta aim at him.
Look how many concerned citizens are here, right?
They're scared.
They don't see that.
You're scared.
That or like I'm saying, they know which way the wind's blowing.
I hope.
They figured it out.
You better come over here. You better come over here
Different matter.
right now.
Ask Josh. Then they'll be out. Then they'll come.
Don't go good. Hold tight. And don't let them make you mad. Anything. Just do it.
They called me. The lady came by.
Okay, we just sent you the application.
We're good.
Yeah. And you're the only one. You're it.
You are the agenda. There is no agenda. They ain't hearing anybody else. Everybody else is hearing everybody else's next week. It's regularly scheduled time.
See if there's an agenda. See if there's an agenda anywhere.
There is no agenda. And you can agenda when it's one item. As long as they follow right.
You don't gotta
No, I just hold on to it when somebody's coming by. I don't worry about it falling. I can really see it good. No, I got it turned so. I got it good. It's okay. If I have to, I'll stand up. We don't bite. Sit down. Watch your foot.
Hey,
Either one, if you decide. Any what?
That's it.
But these aren't negative.
No, these are. Okay. There's nobody that lives on there. There's nobody back there. There's nobody that lives right behind me. You need to come out here sometime and look. We'll show you what we're talking about. Borders. I don't think I got a car. It's just pretty bad.
Okay.
Or we'll come out here.
Come down North Whitney, where there's a first story.
Yeah.
Where?
On North Whitney Avenue, you go like you go into the Shell station, and we're,
After you pass Dogwood.
well, she's been at every meeting she's sick. And that gummit, I'm getting sick. I don't have time for all that. But, do I make you? I make my grandson laugh. But you can. Honey, get her up. Give her up. I'm supposed to look. Well, this piece of toilet. I'll get I gotta put some in here, because I didn't have any other time. Our city manager. Where? He's new. He came into a pet club. He came into a situation that he didn't know any of his time. And got in it and bless his heart. I think he's nice. Yeah, we do. Oh, you got customers, don't you?
Come on.
Really big money customers. No, that's here. That's been here.
That's the last meeting I was at.
Okay, that's been here, but there's another one coming. It's gonna be, you know where the otter is over in Virginia? No, you don't. Come on, we'll take you some. I'm sure you're right. They can show you where things are. You don't live here.
No, I'm in Riverdale.
We can show you where things are so you get to know them. Cool. Because it'll help with the business.
Yes, a lot of it.
Yeah, it really will.
You know, the thing is,
I know. Well, where'd he go? Where'd you sitting with us? That ain't right.
He said you're fine.
I do. He should know. If anybody knows I bite, it's him. And we ain't gonna explain how.
Okay. Alright, Indian cuisine.
I got right down there. Thank you. That's what I need.
don't come.
I hope so. I would love it if it did. I'd like to just say, okay, this is how it is, it's all okay. But it ain't gonna happen. Now, I met dude.
Yeah. He took pictures for the police academy.
Yeah, he did.
He took our pictures when we went in that room right there.
Yeah.
We sure did. He was our photographer. He's the police academy. Yeah. Hanging on what he was doing. Joseph.
Yeah. Joseph's always there. Every meeting ever.
And look at the back of that phone. So they get the rest of it. Sitting next to Will Johnson. He's one of our guys. He may be like our
I would.
I don't have any idea. But he's back there next to us, sitting next to Will Johnson. He's a new singer.
I'll ask him. If he stands up, will you please hand these to Miss Charlotte? Charlotte? Where's your coffee? Jennifer dragging the furniture around.
What hit it on the way out?
Do what?
Looks like he's a gun to me.
Be an attorney. They're going to sign it. Sign. Everybody's going to sign it. They can't get away. I get them. There's some agendas back there.
I'll go get some.
I got it.
How are you?
How are you? I like your shirt. That's the first one. I bet you have. It looks good. Dark eyes. She knows. She knows. You're on. I got you. That's a little one.
Yeah, that is a good idea. Go ahead and get we know they got a half a
So
dozen.
they all make money in years.
Right. They got. I mean, they got a half a dozen. They still haven't finished up with for next week. That might just be administrative, but good idea to get it. Well, good idea to get it out of the way. They can't manage.
Find out what we're doing.
Well, I wouldn't show you.
Maybe. Is he a code person? That looks like maybe that's it.
Once again, I don't know for sure, but that looks like our fire people will back against that back. One of our fire chiefs will be here to answer questions, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So whoever it is, has something to do with it. Looks like they brought everybody here to might get a question. This professional thing. Well, why not?
They want to ask questions here. All right, now no making out over there. Ignoring me. Huh?
Give me ring pop. I said I was going to bring pop one this time. The very first thing you have to do is declare the application. At least one. One's probably enough. Now you got a buffer.
You just don't want to get on channel. I can do it. I turn around. Diane, there's one thing about us. We're never very quiet.
There you go. See, I told you.
Is that your guess? Is that
No, no, no.
We're near there.
Close.
Good grief.
I think it's that salt and pepper that's taken over.
Shocking.
Yeah, he got caught in the same barrel I did. I haven't seen him in there.
Zoom in on that.
And you got another tape.
Sure do. You got another one ready? Get cranked up about 6 things, about 60 seconds. So.
Call meeting of the Alcohol Review Board. Into order. This is December 10th, Thursday, 2015. Roll call. George Rogan, Mike Murphy, Joseph Winkler, Ernie Richmond, David Maddox. Here. Welcome, everybody. We're here on number 4 is complete application of JMP Properties LLC, 4019 Arnold Street. Next is public hearing, consideration to approve or deny alcohol beverage license for South Central Bar and Grill for an on-premise beer, wine, and liquor license at 994 South Central Avenue. Firstly, I would like public comment. What I'm going to ask you to do is get up and come over to the front of the table.
I think he did. I'm not sure.
Get up, come to the front of the table here, state your name. Have that.
There's a bunch. Speak up. Great.
Right here.
Great. Mr. Maddox, my name is David Kutsky. I'm an attorney and I represent J&P Properties LLC in this matter. And I'm rising initially at this point in time, before we get into anything substantive, to raise an issue as to the propriety of the agenda. There is no application by J&P Properties LLC pending with respect to 489 King Arnold Street. So either the agenda has to be created, the application has filed, is for a location at 397 North Central Avenue. And I don't want there to be any irregularities in what this board undertakes. And I want to make sure that the agenda is listed properly, and the address is listed properly on the agenda. So I would ask the board preliminarily to make a change to the agenda.
I'll make a motion to change.
Well, and I've got one other preliminary matter as well, which deals directly with Mr. Murphy. Now, I served yesterday on the secretary for the ARB and on the city attorney a motion to have Mr. Murphy recused from sitting on this board and sitting in judgment of this application by J&P Properties. The basis for that is that there's a long, first of all, he is the spouse to Laura Murphy, and there's a spousal relationship there, which is obviously a close confidential relationship. Ms. Murphy and Mr. Patton have been on the other side of the lawsuits against each other over the years. There has been an ethics violation filed against Ms. Murphy by a previous attorney of Mr. Patton. There have been, there's a load of social media on the hateful neighborhood website of Ms. Murphy raising issues adverse to Mr. Patton. This city ethics code provides, first of all, a binding on appointees to positions on boards such as this, appointees by the mayor. And this city's ethics code says that it is premised on fair and impartial government and integrity in the process. There is at the least an appearance of impropriety by having Mr. Murphy sit on this panel, given his marital relationship to a person who is openly, publicly adverse to anything that Mr. Patton tries to do in this community. And beyond that, that's at a minimum. At a maximum, it would be to have Mr. Murphy, given the background, sit on this panel. It would be a violation of Mr. Patton and J&P Property LLC's civil rights, it would constitute a violation of due process, equal protection, and I guarantee you that will be raised in a different forum unless we solve this procedural issue now. And I would, as long as Mr. Murphy sits on this panel, I object to having my client's application considered by this panel because the panel is biased in and of itself. There is not, you can't even conjure a pretense of impartiality. So those are my two preliminary matters.
Do I get to respond to that?
You're on the panel.
I believe that anyone who has been to these board meetings over a long period of time will agree that I have never been biased, that I'm always impartial, that my job on this board I take very seriously. I am sworn by being on this board to uphold the laws of Hapeville, and that's all I've ever done. And any quotes or notices that were put on next door by my wife were always in relation to an ordinance or a law in the city, and never directed at a specific person. If it applied to Mr. Patton, I'm sorry, but he and a lot of other people have been the topic of these kinds of things. But as far as I'm concerned, I will be impartial. I see no reason for me to recuse myself.
Are you, Mr. Patton? I am. Have you had the opportunity to consider this motion? And is it your advice to the city to allow this to go forward? You know as well as I do, if this were a court, and this were a judge, and it was the judge's wife who was out doing in the community with respect to a litigant in front of that judge would have the absolute duty to recuse himself in the case. You know it as well as I know it. There is, as I said, at a minimum, an appearance of impropriety here. At a maximum, there is a constitutional violation. And I'm going to object to having my client have to present his application over his property rights, over his livelihood, to a panel which is not impartial. And I would ask the city attorney to advise the
I would like to
ARB how
respond
handle
to
this.
that. I am one vote in 5, and I have not tried to influence any of these people. I hold no power over these people. I am one vote out of 5. If Mr. Patton is afraid of my one vote, I'm sorry. But I am very thorough in what I do for research, and that's that. I will not
This
recuse
isn't a
myself.
matter of fear, sir. This is a matter
Well, there has
of
to be some reason.
whether this is a fair and impartial panel. And by virtue of the marital relationship, as a matter of law, it cannot be.
I will agree. I will not recuse.
And I'm going to object, I will not waive this particular objection, and I'm going to object to going forward on the merits until this matter is resolved.
The gentleman's not going to go forward. Now I'm sorry, everybody doesn't understand once they're done with the city attorney's office. If Patton and the council doesn't want to, if they don't want to report it, that's certainly their choice. But to my mind, Patton has not raised a specific issue with the member in terms of the member being biased. He's going to use the member's spouse is biased. Well, that is certainly so that you can debate that the spouse is not on the board. I think the issue about recusal, there's no power for the city attorney or the other members of the board to force a member to recuse. I read the motion to recuse, and that motion is brought pursuant to the ethics board. So it's an ethics issue. It's certainly not an issue under alcohol code. Furthermore, there's no provision cited that would allow this board to force a member to recuse or to have that member be forced to leave the hearing. These are issues that are raised under the ethics ordinance, and that's the basis of their motion, or their remedies under the ethics ordinance. They have not, at this point, raised any other issues or cited any other provision of law that would allow this board to force a member to recuse. And for that basis, it's my advice that we take no action, because, in my opinion, the board has no power to take action and force a member to recuse. Thank you.
Now, Mr. Denmark, while you're here, would you agree to the proposition that perhaps this panel should not hear this and it should go directly to the mayor and council?
Sir, you have not raised any issue
that would call Mr. Murphy's credibility or his impartiality into question. You've raised an issue as with his spouse. And I understand that sometimes those relationships may cause an issue, but I think the standard should be a little bit higher when you're saying that this gentleman should not serve based on some bias that you have not even articulated. I read your motion. In the four corners of your motion, nor your verbal presentation this evening, have you offered anything that would suggest that the member is somehow biased, but only based on a relationship. That's the source of the bias, and I think it requires a little bit more than that.
Well, and I would show you a lawsuit, Josh Patton versus Laura Murphy, State Court, Fulton County, Civil Action, 03 VS 043829F. I show you segments of the Hapeville Neighbor website in which Laura Murphy is suggesting that I request that everybody show up at the alcohol review board on Tuesday. The council is having a public hearing. Please come and voice your opinion. It's a small meeting room in the back of City Hall. So if you enough wish to come, we need to request the meeting be changed to the police department. Now, this is rallying support. It goes on to say that, hang on, I will strike that. Next, ethics complaint filed in 2003 against Laura Murphy. Now, you know as well as I do, Mr. Denmark, that if this were a judge, and if the judge's wife was involved in doing something relative to a litigant in that court, that judge would be duty-bound. He would recuse himself. You know that as well as I do. You know that that would take a judge up before the Judicial Qualifications Board if he did not recuse himself. And now you're asking this gentleman to put himself and his city in that particular hole.
So I totally disagree with your assessment. If the issues that were before the board touched and concerned issues between Mr. Patton and Mr. Murphy, that would be one thing. But as I understand it, those are altogether unrelated matters. Furthermore, you have not offered any facts or evidence that call Mr. Murphy's impartiality into question. You're essentially saying that since Mr. Murphy's wife engaged in protect the First Amendment speech to ground the citizen support for a position that she believes in, that the member is somehow disqualified. Now, if you're suggesting that it creates a principle of propriety, even if I agree with you, the issue becomes what remedy does the city have? Remember, I cannot recuse a member or force him to recuse himself, nor can the board. So ultimately, the issue is with the member, whether he voluntarily recuses himself or not. You have cited no proposition of law that would allow the board to do it, or that would allow me, a city attorney, to do it. So it's ultimately up to Mr. Murphy. If he has indicated he does not want to recuse himself, so now the ball's in your court, go forward or not.
And I would ask you again, sir, on the record, would you agree to have this application taken directly to the mayor and city council to avoid this whole issue? Because I am not going to waive this objection. I am not going to present this to a panel member which is inherently biased by virtue of the relationship.
I think you misunderstand my role. I'm merely an advisor.
I understand that.
These folks are decision
You're also
makers.
city attorney.
Well, I'm city attorney, but I work for these folks and I give them advice, and they can do with my advice what they will. So I don't have to agree or disagree with your assessment. I advise the client that they have no ability to force the member's recusal.
Would they have the ability as a body to waive this matter over in its entirety to the mayor and city council, short changing the appellate process, making it more efficient?
If they have the ability to do whatever they choose in that regard.
Then I would ask the board if you would consider deferring on this matter and allowing it to go directly to the mayor and city council in accordance with it's a de novo review before the mayor and city council anyway. So why should we go through here and create a procedural problem when we have a very expeditious remedy?
No, and I'll tell you why. You're assuming that everything's going to come out wrong. You don't know what's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen like you want it to happen, then you can appeal it to mayor and council.
But please understand.
I just want to hop over us.
I'm not suggesting that I want to do this. My point is, I need to make the appropriate record, and I do not want to waive legitimate objections that my client has to going forward. That's a procedural problem in the long run, as Mr. Denmark pointed out. And this is nothing personal against the panel.
I said my piece.
All right.
I'll let you guys.
Anything else, sir?
That's all I have preliminary.
back to public comment on South Central Bar and Grill. Any public comment? None? Okay.
David, did you want to correct the,
I'm on number 5.
no, but did you want to correct the agenda to show the right applicant?
Right. And that's fine.
I make a motion that the agenda be amended under complete application to reflect 397 instead of 49 Arnold Street, and the address of 397 South Central. North Central Avenue.
Discussion? All in favor? All not? Okay. Now, let's go to number 5. Again, any comment, one more time for South Central Bar and Grill? Not? Staff comment?
This is the patent, this is the bill. We need to work. Just the planning director, he's going to make a few comments on the report.
Would you like to identify yourself?
Yes, I'm sorry, William Whitson, City.
Good evening. This application is for 994 South Central Avenue. It's west of I-85. The staff report that I believe you've reviewed assesses the factors as parking, traffic.
Mr. Johnson, if you don't mind, speak up a little bit. Compare to you. I don't know about these guys.
Can you hear me?
Y'all hear me?
Yes.
So I was saying the various parameters that the alcoholic beverage ordinance, and more particularly for my work, the zoning ordinance looks at. Among those are parking, impact on traffic, whether the use is permitted in a restaurant, is a permitted use, subject to approval of an alcohol application, which is why we're before you tonight. The application complies with zoning ordinance and the criteria under section 5617. The recommendation is for approval as concerns those criteria and zoning compliance. There's been an issue that's come up in a brief PowerPoint to discuss that issue, and that is whether windows are required on this structure. That requirement is housed in the architectural design standards. There's a special design areas map. And if you'll look at 994, which I believe is right in there, it's on the other side of 85, as I mentioned, and is not within the special design area map. Therefore, the architectural design standards are not applicable to this property. Next slide. Even if they were applicable, this building does not confront South Central Avenue. There is no build to line in the village zone, so it has to either be on that build to line or on the front yard setback. Front yard setback in the V zone, village zone, is 15 feet. That building is probably 50 feet from the right of way. so it does not in front. These are some standards that would be applicable, and I imagine that's the source of concern. That, for example, minimum 75% of the length of the in-fronted portion of the building, of the build-to line. But again, this building is not within the special design area. None of this applies to this particular property, and even if it did, this building does not in front, according to the definition of what in front means. With that, I'll take any questions.
Were you aware of the fact that this addition to this building was built without a permit?
I'm not involved in permits, building permits, so I was not aware.
And also, more than 80% of it is on the adjacent piece of property, 990, not 994.
That's not uncommon for properties to be comprised of a number of lots. Chick-fil-A, for example.
I'll go back to the fact that it was built without a permit.
I don't know that that's true, but
We have the engineering drawings, we have the permits, and the only permit that was issued for this building was for a remodel of the interior of 994. And 3 associated permits that listed an air conditioning unit, 2 for electrical service, 1 for plumbing. There was never any permit issued for any kind of new construction. That was my initial question when I brought this up a week ago. And as new construction, I was under the impression it would have to meet the architectural design standards. If you feel it doesn't, that's your motive. But alcohol establishment that has not a window in the entire building, I understand the initial part of the building was built in 1954. So maybe it never had one, I still don't know. But it just really bothers me that we're going to issue a license to an establishment when the drawings and all the applications say nightclub. Nowhere does it say a restaurant. And for an alcohol license to be issued, it's required to be a restaurant. It has 3 separate VIP rooms, a stage, an elevated stage, and those VIP rooms are all shrouded so no one down on the floor level can see what's going on. And one of them is even a closet behind the bar. I just have an issue with the building itself.
I'll have to defer to the city attorney and on any permitting issues or any of the issues you just mentioned. I will say, because I know those doors, the primary access to the building was metal, and they did change out the doors for glass. And I'm familiar enough
They changed the front.
right, and I'm familiar enough with the alcohol ordinance to know that it's either windows or glass doors. They have glass doors as the primary access.
I never questioned that.
And I don't know anything about the permits. Someone else would have to comment on that.
To my knowledge, the footprint was never altered, so therefore, there was never any need for a permit to enclose that area. That's my understanding.
That outside part was built in, appears to be about 2005, I believe. And it was designed to be separate from the building, and it was a patio cover, 6 or 8 wooden posts, and a tin roof that did not attach to the building. Even the engineering drawings that are right there state. I beg to differ. And in your square footage estimations for this establishment, you had it at 2880. That was the original building. The new building is something like 30 by 40, so there's another 1,200 square feet that have to be added to that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It still doesn't go past any limitations, but it's not correct in the calculations.
I'm not sure I was aware of the enclosure at the time. I think it was presented as interior renovation. Interior renovations don't come to my office. The parking was in excess, so they were good on the parking, which would have been the largest impact of that additional square footage.
The Wilson County has no record of any building being put on that flat. I guess the grease trap was the one that they were very sound.
The grease trap was permitted, because I said,
you guys issue a building permit? Somebody's supposed to sign?
I'd have to look in our records, I'm sure somebody did sign it.
All the ones I got copies of are fine. Only by the contract.
But generally, when we give out copies, we don't give you the originals. We just type in the computer and give you a blank sheet.
This came last week.
Once again, she generally just does copies off the computer itself and doesn't give copies of the signed permits.
If something has not been permitted and something happens in that building, I'm asking somebody to turn, somebody gets hurt, etc., and cannot take care of their kid, let's say. If it's never been permitted, would that put the city or the business into more liability? You know something I'm saying? The city would be liable. What about if we were to issue a license for alcohol, something happened, you know, I'm wondering if it would, I mean, if I were in place and I found that my attorney found out there was no permit, that might weaken the party I serve.
Well, I understand that you might come court with two of them, one sue the city here, actually the city court might.
That's a business.
City court.
Mr. Chairman, we can't hear anything here. Nothing, nothing.
Are these voting? Sorry. Something here. Expressiveness.
Although y'all were talking to others. All right,
Thank you.
any more discussion on staff? Floor's mine, Joe. Not, move on. Guys, any comments to the staff?
Everything is complete? Everything's a go?
Yes.
There was information that was submitted that we forwarded that.
All right, how about this? Let's move along and ask Mr. Patton questions, if staff has to step in to answer any questions, just look like that. Okay.
And Mr. Maddox, one moment, if I may, just again for the record and not trying to obstruct this. I'd like to, just for the record and not be obstreperous, but I'd like to preserve an objection to going forward without there being a disposition on the motion to recuse. We have elected to go forward, but we are specifically, explicitly preserving that objection.
All right. Tricia, did you get his name? Okay. Your name, sir?
Josh Patton, owner, Castle, 397.
I got to ask you something. JMT Properties LLC, is it registered with the state? Under what name? Is it registered as JMP Properties LLC?
Yes, sir.
I looked it up yesterday. I went to the state and I got the JMT Properties LLC, 55 Salem Church Road, Carrollton, Georgia. Is that you? And it was dissolved, and that was the only JMT Properties. Should it be under any other name? All I'm asking is, you've got a legal company, a partnership, or?
It is possible
Is it
that
registered?
it is JM.
JMP.
Van Tech.
Josh Patton property should be jail.
It's listed under certificate of organization as J. Hapeville Properties, LLC. That is certified. That works?
Thank you, sir.
All right, guys. I need to start, can I ask this gentleman a question?
Okay, question here, if so, have you or anyone holding interest in the establishment ever been placed on probation or had your license revoked? And you answered no. Have you not had a license revoked? City of Montgomery.
In 2003, the city denied the license. And it says, question 28, have you ever had any financial interest in beverage license or business which was denied a delivery permit? And that happened in 2003. That city had never taken it. So the city paid it. Yeah, but it was denied. And it says ever. Oh.
Who was the applicant who was denied at that time? As an individual?
He was, I believe the board's listed as the Castle Restaurant and that
Who's the applicant?
the Central Station.
Who's the applicant today? LLC.
So it was revoked then? But you answered no. That's right.
And it went through all three courts.
So if it was
Went all the
revoked,
way-
if it was revoked and you answered no, you didn't.
The license holder was an individual at the time. The applicant here is an LLC. The LLC has not had a license previously.
But Mr. Patton has. And Mr. Patton owns the LLC. And Mr. Patton's license was revoked.
There are.
And he answered no.
They're separate legal entities.
I don't understand that.
There was the court case, and the licensing, Mr. Josh Patton individually, and DPA Central Station. He filed lawsuits against the county superior court, the city of Hapeville, mayor and council, members of the city manager, police, everybody. And 9 counts in federal statute, summary judgment was issued in favor of the city on all the lawsuits.
Central Station is a DBA that's reflective of being a sole proprietorship. It is not a legal entity. It is synonymous with the owner of the sole proprietorship. An LLC is a separate legal entity in and unto itself.
That's something that's.
That's right.
All we're going by is court records.
According to the, according to the application, Joshua Patton is the applicant. It is, I'm looking at the applicant information sheet, and Joshua Patton is listed as the applicant, not the JMG LLC.
Joshua Patton is listed as the applicant.
Okay.
So he answered no. And it says here that I can read it in this language, and I freely and voluntarily have completed this application. I understand that it is a felony to make false statements or running to the city of Hapeville pursuant to blah, blah, blah.
Is it?
Okay. So what happens next? If he has answered no, and he has had a license revoked, he answered no on this question. It says here he may have, I'm not saying he did, he may have committed a felony. What happens next?
I don't know if my license was, I mean, Alan Baker was handed this for me, and I'm not aware of this.
You answered no. That you never had a license revoked. It says here that when you do that, you may have, I didn't say you did commit a felony. What happens next?
I know we go through these matters where they gave me probation, they gave me temporary license and all this.
Your license was revoked.
I understand, sir. That's the evidence. board had been asked to work on. Now, in addition to the threatening language regarding possible felony, there's also the
I just
possibility.
read to you, I just
Excuse me,
read the
sir,
statements.
if I may, there's a possibility, there's a scrivener's error on the application. There's certainly no intent to deceive nor intent to misrepresent.
I just said may, I did not say did, I said no.
I understand, sir.
Okay.
It's possible there's a scrivener's error. Yes, I do, sir.
Well, no, we just amend the application.
I understand.
Correct it at this point.
No, we're not going to do that.
But I'm asking for
At this time?
A correction can be made.
no, we can't.
Why is that not simply an administrative error, which are regularly permitted to be corrected by this board?
I would understand that you as the attorney would have looked at this. I understand that you as his attorney would have looked at this and would also have been aware of this, the court action.
Okay.
Okay? You already had a chance to look at it. I'm assuming that you, in looking at this and being aware of the court action, went forward with it.
I fail to see what a 12-year-old lawsuit has to do with this.
It says ever, sir. The law says ever. Doesn't say
A lawsuit?
the law says
It's
ever.
a lawsuit, sir, is what you're referring to.
I'm talking about our ordinance. The question. Ever been placed. Ever. Doesn't make any difference.
Use this. We need to proceed with amending the application to correct the misnomer. For the board may go forward. If there's a determination, the application is complete.
That's, when it starts with that, it's hard for me. I want to hear you, I want to hear them, like, can we all agree to not talk over each other, please? Okay.
So I see we can proceed, but we agree to that. Sam, we can go to the next, if we have anything else.
And then come back to it.
Well, you just talk it up to one. What do you want to do? The item I have is on the application, it's number 14. And it says, for the last calendar year, did you file and pay any county property tax? And he said yes. And it was in Fulton and Clayton counties. At 4 o'clock this afternoon, I checked on the 397 North Central, 383 North Central, and 489 King Arnold, as well as 4 other properties that are in that area that Mr. Patton owns. And none of the county property taxes have been paid, and there are penalties now for, I think, a 2-month period. And the total owed is $31,548.62.
And I pay all the city taxes for it.
Yeah, but it says you have to pay city, county, federal, everybody's taxes. And in our ordinance, not paying the taxes is a moment.
Well, I did like more money there, but
I'm just saying, it needs to be brought up to date before we consider this application. I have one other item, and that is the business license, the certificate of occupancy, and what's the other one, the health and wellness from Fulton County. There are still in the name of Steve Bennett. And you state now that you're going to do 100% owner of the house. Steve out of it, he's on. So these would have to be reapplied for the insurance. So, that's a business license, health and wellness, for your food permit. And occupation tax permit, the city is.
city attorney has a technical point.
I'd like to point out something. If you look at the old application from Mr. Steve Bennett, he lists himself, Mr. Steve Bennett, he lists himself as a 100% owner of the castle of the business. In this new application, Mr. Patton, Josh Patton, has listed himself as the 100% owner of it. And so, was there a transfer in ownership, sir?
I mean, he leased the property. He was 100% owner of the restaurant. He leased the property. He didn't own the property. I owned it.
Right. I understand that.
And his family, we're talking about the family.
He owned the business.
Do you own it now?
Yes.
So is there a transfer of ownership of the business? Did he sell the business over to you?
Yeah, it was just a transfer. It's just, because he worked for me. He worked. I mean, he had me build the castle.
Well, right, but it is a legal issue, but I'm saying, what they're saying is, if he was saying he was the owner, so in order for you to become the owner, you had to pay 50 cents, whatever, you had to have bought the business back. You have any paperwork showing that you bought the business back from him, because before in the other application, he was listed, not just as the lease, not as the person leasing, but as the owner of the castle, the business.
Like revise it, just go back to the original. Proper business, do it in a timely fashion. I have to ask, first of all, what about the writs? Did you just let him out of that? Did you have him pay out of it?
No, I said no.
Did you send him to debtors? Did you send him to debtors? What'd you do?
No,
Just let him
I
out?
said no. No problem. He had me build the
Contract, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. One thing, the question I got is, after Mr. Bennett was turned down for a liquor license, the restaurant stayed in business, did it not? Who ran that? You ran it? Okay, and then it went out of business, stayed in business for about 90 days.
I mean, he was there to, I think he was there for like 2 months, just to see what it'd be like to have food.
Why'd you shut it down?
Because it's not gonna make it without alcohol.
Because of what?
It won't make it without alcohol. It's just no.
The food is just not good enough for anybody to eat unless they have to wash it down to the bottom.
You need to be slapped.
There's a loaded question. Talk about prejudice.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in bills. You don't have enough capital to keep the restaurant going.
That ain't got nothing to do with the county. It was not making any money, just serving food.
Okay, and
And you know, and I know.
your business model now
You know,
is
a restaurant.
a restaurant and service liquor, correct? Your business model is a restaurant serving liquor.
Yeah, like everybody else.
Entertainment?
Yeah, we got entertainment.
Which I,
You know, we have bands, we got a stage for bands, just like everybody else in the city.
so is the atmosphere going to change from a restaurant to something else at any given time during the day or night?
Well, I'm sure y'all lady hammers haven't you? They got a DJ at night on the weekends, they got a dance floor, just like at, Irish Pub. They got a dance floor, they got a DJ. No different, I'm doing the same thing they do, but bigger.
Okay, is it, also, is it family, will it be family friendly? Grandkids?
All my places have been that way. It was
Smoking or not smoking?
Yes, we had Christmas parties for the kids, 500 families, 1,000 kids.
Smoking or not smoking?
Well, at night, during the day, there's no smoking. At night, when it's 21 and up, you can have smoking.
Can I ask you a question about Central Station? I know that these reviews of Central Station are in that Central Station. You just mentioned it. You just mentioned it. You
Does it alter the fact that this application has nothing to do with Central
But you
Station?
just brought it up, just like Central Station. At Central Station, I'm just reading this review. I'll be just part of it. Somebody that is good enough for me. Fort Swansea, which is me, is definitely always strong in the building, always strong, heavy in the building. So if you don't like weed, then I will suggest you go there. Marijuana is mentioned several times in here. Heavy reviews of your patrons.
Mr. Patton is not in any way able to control what people write on social media.
And I want to ask another question. Two things are mentioned here that bother me. The idea of heavy smoking of weed, and it's mentioned a number of times, or a couple of times, but also the parking. Apparently that there was a lot of, somebody said 3,000 folks in the building, you know, so it was always crowded. So my question is,
Which location are you referring to?
I'm talking about this former location, Central Station. Where? So, anyway, if you're gonna have a large number of people, large crowds like you did over there in East Point, with only 57 parking places, and the traffic study that we have here.
This is a restaurant, that was a club. That was a nightclub. Well, y'all changed the time back on me since I came to Hapeville back to 2 o'clock. It was 3 and 4 before Steve Bennett applied for his license. And then y'all got crazy and changed the law again.
I didn't know if you went to us early or you're staying up until.
Whatever the law says.
Okay, I didn't know, I'm just
They
asking.
changed it in before.
And the other thing I you mentioned, there was pole dancing, strip club involving pole dancing.
Sure, I had, that was in the Central Station.
You didn't hire the strippers, I didn't understand.
There wasn't strippers,
People in the audience.
yeah, they just come in, they want to dance.
Some of them were
That's the
Stanley.
biggest bad now, whole business.
Yeah, and some of them were Stanley dressed.
Because Central Station, I'm over here, it's a nice restaurant there.
I'm just bringing up the background. You mentioned Central Station.
Y'all probably done first.
No, you brought it up. Put it right up first.
I looked at, when it was Central Station, when it was in the old place where Edwards was. I don't know that address, but when it was, before it went to East Point, when it was still legal, I lived in Central Park. And one of the things that I had just living there is we had problems with traffic on King Arnold. And at that time, I was teaching and coaching south of Henry County. I would come home late at night on the weekends, and traffic was an issue down that road. So I'm just asking, I'm not trying to be adversarial, I'm just asking, do you have a plan, like, to help kind of with that flow? Because what ended up happening when I don't live in that neighborhood anymore, but people would come down in Central Park and park and turn around, and there was a constant flow of people. I don't know if they just didn't know how to get 85, or they were trying to beat the traffic and thought that was it wasn't a dead end. But do you have any plans for, I know you've got somebody helping with parking, but I guess when it's closes, helping to get people disseminated out faster and not all into other arteries of the.
Yes, we're using, Hapeville police, police officers, then we got Fulton County, we look at.
They'll be out there helping to, like, direct traffic after, when it closes down and stuff.
Anybody going in, anybody going to.
No, I didn't think it was, I'm just saying, like, helping say, so that not to turn back down that way. Okay, I got you. Yes. Gotcha.
Why do you have to hire a company to take care of 57 parking?
Dear God.
If we have a big night.
Where are they gonna park if they don't park in the
You got more, UAW building, you got around the castle. It's like you have a big party. Like y'all do, when y'all have y'all big parties, y'all don't have all the parties you need.
Have you had any more tables than what Stephen had for nine? Because he had seating for 220. And now you're gonna have a maximum occupancy of 657 people max. So you're still gonna have to get more tables for 272 more people before you open. 165 can be wandering around, but you're gonna have to get more tables. If you had 220, you almost have to double, more than double your seat, your table, those five-place tables.
Always do.
I got another question. I got to ask. Is there any restaurants in Hapeville that are allowed to smoke in? Where all restaurants not smoke? No smoke. Would you allow? Is that our line?
You placed in your application, your East Point Police Departments, on this Central Station. But that's only part of it. I mean, there's a whole, I think you gave us 7 incidents. Again, you brought the Central Station, I put it in your application. But we have like hundreds of police incidents, way beyond what you put in your application.
This relates to the East Point property, sir?
You put it in the application.
Yes.
You put it in the application. It may have been Central Station, but you put it in this application. So you put it in. And we have here at East Point Police reports survey. Goes on for 2 pages.
You understand that this was a 12-acre property, shopping center,
50,000 square feet.
right? Which had other businesses in place there. If you take a look at the incidences listed on the report that's in your hand, you'll have such things as 26 times there's an incident of somebody impersonating another. Eight incidences of somebody being sick. A traffic accident on private property, 61 of those. Another traffic accident, 42 of those. Yet another traffic accident, 46 of those. And it goes on and on and on. And there's nothing in this report which reflects that any of these things had anything to do with Mr. Patton's restaurant in another town. And there's nothing in this report which reflects that any of these charges went to fruition and became convictions. And there's nothing in this report that suggests that all these individual items listed here weren't actually multiple items which, when broken out, give you a far more impressive number.
And also drug.
I haven't got it yet. 29 to be exact. When you break it down, I can continue my list, and that would comprise over 800 of them. And let the record note also that this happened over a 9-year period of time, from January the 1st to December the 1st, 2013. In another community, in another environment. An extremely dissimilar facility than the one that's standing on.
What did the outside of that facility look like?
You don't have to answer that question. That's got nothing to do with this proceeding.
He stated that this was going to be bigger than the last one. You're taking into consideration the whole shopping center. And those police reports differentiated between 8 in the morning and 8 at night, and then 8 at night to close it for this place, which was 5 or 6 in the morning.
There's nothing in this police report that attributes it to his business, even if it was all.
All 221 pages of there specifically names Central Station. there's things that need to be changed, yes. You want him, he's gotta get his licenses. We can't give an alcohol license to a place that isn't a licensed restaurant. He doesn't have a license. The person has to get a business license, occupation certificate, and the health and wellness report. It's just a building right now. And for it, you can come back when he gets all that stuff and consider it him. Whatever you want to do. But you can't vote on it tonight.
That would be, I guess, everything that's listed in the students. The license, the application will reflect your corporation. Yes.
Since we know this, previously another applicant within this year had all the things in place, and most likely since the restaurant was shut down at this point, nothing really has changed, so it would most likely will be approved. In order to make it easier for the applicant, it could also be made contingent upon that he gets his license once he presents to, as a procedural thing, these permits. I mean, there's no reason for us to come back together to look at a food service permit that he will be getting anyway.
Well, that could be.
Question to you. Is this referring to the city of Hapeville taxes, or is this referring to any taxes within the state of Georgia? Number 14 on the application, specifically states.
So I understand, you're hiring, you said it, you've got people that are gonna be in the parking lot, the city police officers are gonna work the parking lot, just like this parking lot, no shenanigans that happen in the parking lot. And then you've got somebody else out there specifically directing traffic. I'm hammering that home just because I lived there and it did drive me crazy. So, yeah, just making sure that they go like out to 85 and go into 85 and go wherever you need to go from there. Like, you don't lead backwards into, and that's what you're, there's gonna be somebody saying, go this way, go this way.
When you build something, you learn as you go.
No, I know, I'm just asking, like, I got you, I just make sure we were hearing each other's thing. And then I'm just gonna put this out there, also, I'm gonna ask you about this. I will say, my concern, to a certain degree, I never went into either one of your establishments, but I did go on YouTube, and I did see some stuff that was concerning to me. And you're saying that what was at Central Station is not what you're bringing to, that's not the business model, that's not the business model. So you're wanting, it's gonna be completely, you're saying you're wanting it to be a completely different business model, not to be. Gotcha. I saw it online, you went through the whole tour, I saw it, I saw your videos, I saw all of it. I did, yeah, I read it online. At the time, because I didn't want to.
The way we interpret this question.
But yes, yeah.
The question focuses on Camden County, City, United States, not just the does not have to be paid with the decision you file and pay any county property tax.
So it's not have to be paid in full. I don't get on all
According
this.
to the language of the question, I don't believe it's looking at whether or not the tax would be paid in totality.
Right, so it's basically just asking, are you paying taxes within, are you paying any taxes?
Correct.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify. Well, he will have to pay these for different reasons. For different reasons, yeah.
I was simply answering question number 14, and so whether or not he has to pay those taxes, that's beyond the scope of the answer to this question.
I pay all my taxes, I'm just a little late this time. Okay.
The handbook permits and service permits, some of those aren't getting here to be completed, and they all been done.
Those service permits, you can still, they have alcohol license.
He submitted his, and he's never been able to serve.
If I may, this is code section 5-6-17 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Hapeville. Under consideration of guidelines for grant or denial under subsection number 5. Reads the criminal record of the applicant and the location manager and their financial responsibility, provided that non-payment of federal, state, county, or city taxes shall be prima facie evidence of lack of financial responsibility. So, it doesn't answer whether or not it has to be paid, but that could be one consideration in your determination whether or not to grant the license.
Refer to that question, he filled out a service permit, not a form of language permit, so it requires a regulation. See, yeah, that comes in, and there's nothing, his client proves that there's a service.
He has had it back on. I believe it was being passed around earlier. That's the paperwork I need.
Did they give you that? An ID for certain alcohol, did they give you one? Well, you have to have the license, because you're the owner manager. If you need a manager, you get a manager when you're and then there's throw the guys that work for you, they always say, sir. I'm just asking. Well, you're supposed to have it before. You filled out the paperwork, but it doesn't look like it.
You can only get that after he gets the license.
Because all of these people are missing that. Okay.
Maybe it's not question number 2. This question there. Re-answer number of relocation.
All the time, you do it, tell me you do that oversight.
Not
You
like
did it.
this. Not like this. Not like this. If I had a license revoked, I would certainly, knowing that it could possibly, I could be looked at as a felony, or it could be a felony, I would be really, really, really concerned about answering the question now. I question your ethics or your whatever.
You've evidently questioned mine as well, sir. It is regrettable. You've evidently questioned mine as well.
Well, I didn't question yours, I said you looked at it.
Okay,
Yeah,
we're
you did.
getting into a little bit of being contest here. Is there a way that we can is there anything else that anybody else wants to ask about it? Like, can we make a motion at this point to do it?
Citizen discussions over with.
Okay, well, I just want the discussion not to be back and forth, that's all.
I'm just making a point.
No, I know.
I'm just uncomfortable with it. I would never have done that. I did not question you as an attorney. I simply said that you looked at this too, so you're both aware of it. I don't think, I would make a motion to deny based on that and other things, but based on that. And if the council wants to review it, I mean, I'm sure he's going to take it to council. He would take it to council with that in mind and these other things. So, if anybody, I'm going to make a motion.
Hang on. Are we done with discussion? No more asking questions of this gentleman? This other gentleman over here? Okay, with that being said, do I hear a motion to deny?
I make a motion to deny based on his answer to his license being revoked.
And I'm honestly saying that I'm unaware of the license being revoked.
I made the motion.
Or your second?
Second?
I'll second. You second? Sure. All, discussion. All in favor?
Do it, Tom.
I have a question.
Okay. What? Just for discussion.
Well, I know I was upset. Can we make a motion to table it to a certain time or whatever? Maybe table is not the right word. I don't.
If I would, I'm not going to withdraw my motion.
Okay.
There's a motion, I'm not going to withdraw.
Well, it's a second. What I'm hearing is that it is it doesn't change.
No, I understand.
So again, we made a motion to deny. Voted 3, all not in favor? 2, 3-2, so that being said,
Thank you for your time.
public comments? Mr. Chairman, can I start?
It's gonna win, it's great, it's gonna cost
I'm not sure if I need or not. I'd like to ask the board if they can deem my approval for liquor application for 2016, let me pay the prorated amount for 2015, or do I have to go through the
It's a renewal process then. You'll come see me tomorrow. We'll get the renewal
I just like to
application.
pay for both the remainder of 2015 and 16 at one time.
That was fine, but you still have to go through the renewal process, and that renewal application is in place on the December 17th. Yes, sir.
I'll see you again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Any more comments?
He's never going to turn it. He's never going to get my 30 years.
My name is Resident. There was a statement in reference to the ethics of
We can't hear what's being said.
There was a statement in reference, that's why I was going to the microphone. There was a statement in reference to the level of ethics of the board during the meeting. In the beginning, I thought there was going to be something that was not unfair. And I would sit down and say, you are one of the most individuals in terms of your points were directly on the issues of legality. However,
the person sitting next to you, you were the one that really had an opinion before you sat there. Because pulling up something, and this is just in life, you can't convict somebody because of their past without process to change.
Let me just in
And
fairness tell you that that stuff, some of that gets turned into us as part of the application, and some of that stuff came from the applicant. So that, when he was saying it's in the application, it's something that got turned in, like, from the applicant. So it was something we were given in advance to review. It wasn't necessarily something, like I said, that I went and looked at some stuff, and that wasn't part of the application. That was just me. Right, I'm just saying, like, that was something that I talked to him about just one-on-one, like, but I'm just saying, a lot of that stuff was in the packet that we.
There was a statement that you made that ended, that just solidified what I was saying. It became a pissing contest, a contest of egos. Somebody's voice louder than the other, trying to prove the other point without dealing with factual basis. And that's that. I'm just, once again, I saw individuals making statements based on certain things, and individuals making statements based on opinion. The individual that we was looking for, that people was expecting to make a statement based on opinion, was not the person that we were looking for. It was a whole different, and I'm just saying, sir, I'm just saying, sometimes your emotions get into your conversation, and it's not based, it didn't seem like you were giving judgment based on, or complete judgment, because some of your things were factual and based on paperwork. Some of the things that came out felt like it was based on your opinion.
And that's part of our process. We have to weigh the backgrounds, or we wouldn't even have a background check, but we have to weigh all that. And what you call a pissing contest was too late. And all it has to do is Thank you very much.
It wasn't a pissing contest. Basically, it was, and I do not apologize for the way I think, but it was basically that he did something that I would never do, and most people would not do. With that statement about, understanding that what you write here could be considered a felony, I would be really, really, really careful. I would never do that. So, and I think most people would. So I thought the best way to do it is let council decide he's going to feel it anyhow.
And on the document issue of the fine line, which what the lawyer was saying, the lawyer stated that this entity, yes, but this entity it was two separate entities.
Subterfuge.
And so,
hang on,
that's subterfuge.
Well, I gotta say, this is public comment, not public discussion.
Right.
Okay? We'll be here all night. All night. Right.
I'd like to,
Hang on.
Before outside, I can answer some of this.
All right, thank you, sir. Ma'am, you want to get up?
All my questions been answered. I still appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
I don't really have a question, I have a statement, if you don't mind.
Hang on, sir, you need to identify yourself.
Pardon?
Richard Churchill. We don't take no sheet.
Churchill, T-I-R-C-H-E-L. I just want to go on the record of saying that some people are just rather transparent. You, sir, are very transparent with where you wanted this to go. And you picked out something. I believe that it said, did it say in there that it would be perjury and it would do all these things that he signed? Did it not say that? You think he didn't read that and understand what it would have been if he was really lying or possibly he made a mistake?
He said he hadn't had privy to the packet.
He did what?
He even admitted he didn't have privy to the packet. His attorney had filled it out.
Oh, his attorney.
He did
So
say
his
that.
attorney. Okay, so put that on the record. Yeah, put that on the record because you're holding him.
I know, but I think we're getting to these character assassinations that are really just not the point of what
I saw the
we're trying to do here.
transparency. I saw it right here, and I just want to go on the record.
She did.
Anybody else?
You're not through. You're not through.
Are y'all adjourned?
You are not through.
Okay, we'll keep recording. Still in the meeting. Since they haven't adjourned yet, they're still in the meeting, so we'll keep recording.
another thing, there's somebody else behind here.
What?
There's somebody else behind here. Oh, well, now.
Quick step over. Step over.
Step over. Good job.
Turn it off when we're done plug it.
No.
Let it keep running.
Let it roll.
I mean, they're still in session. They haven't adjourned. Haven't adjourned yet. They're very strictly boarding. Very
I'm not unplugging yet.
Okay, step over.
Okay, I'll hold your hand.
Jump from. No, Mary Alice. William Mary Alice. Oh, all right.
You're going to get to know him, Mary Alice.
Okay.
All right, let's call it. I let him know.
I know you did. Good job. Just filming visions down on Bridge for the sun. You'll see it all back here.
That's Joseph's wife. Those are his children.
That's who?
Wismer. No, not Wismer. Joseph. What's his name?
Winkler? Okay.
Winkler's wife.
Okay.
You guys are going to have to sell this one.
It's not for sale.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No.
It's a joke. It's a joke. Not even for $1 million. I couldn't give you $1 million for you and $2 million for him.
You don't have enough money, but I just tell you.
My girl. Hey,
I mean,
why you stay?
She's sharp, man. She's sharp.
That explains Joseph.
Yep. Oh yeah. As long as they consider, we're gonna sit right here with the camera.
And I hate that we missed it.
They didn't. We wrote it down. They didn't have a motion, but they approved one post. I didn't know. Do an overlay and film. My post was approved by
It really is.
No. Council can overturn it. Council can get him I appreciate it.
I stick my foot out to you so you can follow the board.
My wife and kids built in all the time.
Did they? Joy Whitaker.
I'm Brian Eskew. How you doing?
I'm fine. This is my husband Scott.
Hey, Scott, how you
My
doing?
boyfriend
I've been here 6 years now.
Been watching you been over the fire station.
I retired from Fulton County.
My ex-husband was a fireman.
Yeah, right. Where at Fulton County?
No,
Actually in Hapeville. Yeah.
Oh, really?
he's been dead.
I just started here. I'm starting on my 6th year, and I started October of 09. I want to do at least 4 more, but I don't know how much more it is.
Well, you know, it's necessity. It's big. Thank you, darling. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you trying.
I'll see you later.
You know, we do
Thanks for trying, Tanya.
you know, we do what you can.
Well, I mean, I was at something, I just wanted to table it. I don't get a chance.
It's okay. Council will deal with it next week. They were going to. They were always going to have to.
Y'all, it's nice to meet y'all.
It's nice to meet you. I didn't even know we had a separate fire marshal.
Rock on. Good to know.
Ever need a fire? We're volunteers. We're paid.
I'm trying to be business and customer friendly. Okay. Utilize common sense. I'm not in the business to shut businesses down. I'm in the business to keep them open. Get that tax revenue.
So thank you. I understand. I'm a property owner here, and you just, I don't get you. Bigotry and I can't understand. I've been doing this for 3 nights and oh my God.
Nice to meet you.
Anybody